right, so excited to be back. This is my favorite group. Historic Trans Am may be the crowd favorite. This is my favorite. We're going to start off here at the front end with Chris D'Amico and clear something up from last time. So this little arrow here is for his retard in advance of the distributor, and he even says he has to make these notes. He has a hard enough time getting around the track. He makes these little notes for himself. But we'll notice the top two may be fast because we have the top two best mustaches right here on the grid. Chris D'Amico always up front in our Group 5. This is a 1971 Malik 11B. We've got a lot of cars. If you don't know what a Malik is, don't worry. We've got more cars you've never heard of in this group. This car you should have. Now I'm going to show you some secrets here. You can see the Ragogo girls out here cheering on Doc Bundy. Another great mustache in the group. Check out their outfits. How cool is this? So I want to show you something here. He's got two buttons. One is for the radio, and one is a mister that mists water into his braking system to cool him off. He also goes, I think it's clutch, brake, gas. That's his pedal. He's got 4 pedals so that he can do left, right whenever he wants. He's a legend. Doc Bundy, he's been in motorsports for a long time. Surely you've heard of him. Out here in this beautiful Ragogo. Then we've got a Brabham. I think it's a BT8. I've never even heard of this next car. Daewoo MK2. How cool is that, ladies and gentlemen? Whenever they bring out cars we've never heard of, that's what makes this Group 1, 3, 4, 5. Anton Julian, all the way from New Zealand in this beautiful Lotus Elan. Wait, we got to get a shot here, though. Look, there's Rob Dyson right there hanging out. He was talking to the drivers. Legend Rob Dyson out here enjoying the times. So cool. This Elva, beautiful, number 70A, Elva MK6 prototype. Then we come to Randy, who is local here. This is his Group 4 E-Type Jaguar. He's got a Triumph TR3 finish just like this. He's got Group 6 cars finished just like this. Spec Racer Ford here of David, the number 25. Then we've got another Brabham. So just how cool is that? All these different manufacturers. This crazy Devon here. Devon was a, so what chassis is this car? What engine is this car running?
1960 Group 3 with a Porsche 356 engine.
So this is one of the Porsche Devons. These are famous. So it's a rear engine, Devon bodied car, 356 engine. And then ladies and gentlemen, you got to check this out. Tom Raganetti always brings out some fantastic cars. This Group 4 1956 Alfa Romeo Special. Look at that. If he didn't have these arm restraints, he could touch the ground in that car. Beautiful. Then we've got Lotus 7s. An actual Bob Sharp. This has been a race car his whole life. Beautiful car, prepared just as it would have been raced out here. Lots of fun. Then we've got David Nicholas, MGA. David Nicholas, front running MG, dude. Nice. Hawaii Dave, Honeybee Racing, out here in an MG, my favorite of the car marks. And then here we go with our Group 1s and 3s straight up. So Tony, as we walk up, I'm going to send it back to them because it's getting a little bit too loud. Can't wait to come up in the booth and cover this race with you, gentlemen. I'll send it to you.
So we're releasing cars for Group 1, 3, 4, and 5 Bravo. Beautiful cars out there, the English cars along with the Formula prototypes. Lotus 23Bs are usually the cars up front here, as we have Group 5 Bravo Chris D'Amico and that Malik, a beautiful car, the Sir Arthur Malik designed entry. About 80 of these were produced, with each one being an evolution of the next. We have Lotus 23B. Doc Bundy is out there in the Lotus 23B. Doc Bundy, who has 3 Bell Helmet Championships to his name.
Talking about original.
Yes, he is. And he has 24 Hours of Daytona win, 24 Hours of Le Mans win, and Al Holbert Porsche, and an accomplished driver. Bundy, who was going to be probably in the thick of the Vintage National Championship race last year, actually had a mechanical problem in the qualifying race, started in last and finished in third. Went by 26-something cars. Also out there is the Travis Engen, yes, the very same Travis Engen that just won in a beautiful Audi. You'll hear Travis Engen's name
Talk
many
about
times.
a juxtaposition. I mean, that Audi once driven by Alan McNish at Le Mans and, of course, in IMSA, but an amazing machine down to this tiny little thing.
Yeah, you can imagine downforce, paddle shifters, all types of electronics, and now he's in a Lotus 23B.
That's nuts.
Made famous by Colin Chapman.
Yep.
In our Group 4 FIA racing. That Daewoo, I know Ben was talking about it. Daewoo, there were only 5 of these that were ever built. 4 of them are actually still remaining. This is an original car. This one is
Where does it get its name, or where does it get its, I don't know, heritage?
well, each one of them, Leo Cassigny designed this car, and they were just building them because they wanted to race them. But this one is called a Shrike Special. Each one of these cars has a particular name. This is a Shrike Special. And it's a very interesting kind of collaboration of different makes. It has a fiberglass body, has a Jaguar rear suspension, and underneath the hood is a Ford 437 Traco engine. And don't be surprised that this Daewoo gets up amongst the 23Bs. It was very quick in qualifying.
And sort of put some history perspective on this. These were what we call the giant killers, weren't they? These were cars that were small displacement, light, nimble, but able actually on their day to beat much more powerful cars that just weren't as nimble.
No, they were the, I guess what you might call in Britain or England, the saloon cars,
yeah.
which were very powerful, but you know they were a handful in the turns.
And they suited English roads perfectly because they haven't got any bigger.
But now, further back in the pack here, one of the better races might be the Group 1. Arnold Carbaugh, who won both races last year in a Lynx, I believe, is back there along with Nathan Ryder and a Mysterian. And we have some of the Mini Coopers you see coming through there. John Gorsline is out here. That is the famous John Gorsline, an honorary member of the Road Racing Drivers Club, and he has a scholarship for up-and-coming drivers, and that is how he got that honorary membership to the Road Racing Drivers Club.
I could see myself taking a day out in that number 56. That would be impressive.
But as we have had all weekend long, we have a great turnout here. Look at the number of cars here, 2x2 forming up. We may have a potential problem here. Jonathan, I heard something about a double yellow.
Another lap, yeah, I think they're going to do another lap. The light's still on.
Yes, it is. I believe it's been on driver's right between turns 3 and 4. I'm assuming it's just a mechanical problem because we were on the pace lap, but unfortunately that has happened between 3 and 4. They're going to get that car taken care of as quickly as possible. Look at the disparity in the pace car and the little Lotus 23B right behind it.
Yeah, and that's a Honda Civic.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of not a huge boat of a car,
No.
but it really, you can really tell. And then there's a Corvette back there with Bill Treffert behind the wheel that just looks huge compared to some of these. But let's run through the list here. Starting in first is Chris D'Amico. Unfortunately, Travis Engen is not able to make this grid. I saw his car being brought in on a rollback. I hope everything's okay with that. So Doc Bundy moves to second. We've got Joe Blacker in a 64 Brabham. Dennis Bigioni in a Daewoo. I've never even heard of that, which I love about this.
We were just
MK2.
talking about that one, yeah.
Anton Julian in a 65 Lotus. Joey Bajalad in an Elva. You guys haven't run through the grid yet, have you?
No.
Okay, good. Randy Williams out there in his E-Type Jaguar. David Bauman in that Spec Racer Ford. Dan Chapman in a Brabham BT8. Cliff Murray in a Devon Model D Porsche. I talked to him on the grid. That's that air-cooled 356 rear-engine Devon. Tom Raganetti. Those are pretty famous cars. Tom Raganetti in that Alfa Romeo Special. Beautiful car. And Raganetti brings out some cool cars everywhere he goes. Michael Khalil, 62 Lotus Super 7. Michael Unger in that Datsun 2000. I was talking about that Bob Sharp car. Bought right from the factory. Dave Nicholas in that MGA. Doug Sharipa in an MGB. Patrick Darrow in an MG Midget. Larry Smith is in that SVRA blue MG little people. Can we call them midgets? I don't know. It just seems wrong. John Fang in an Alfa Romeo Giulietta Spider. Andrew Moore in that MGB. Jesse Darrow Triumph Spitfire, but it's not out there. The Louis is not out there. Bob Eagleson in an MGB GT, Bill Trefford in that Chevy Corvette Group 4, then Frank Morelli in that other Chevrolet Corvette. Beautiful cars. Bill Trefford's is black, Frank's is white. Richard Zipkowski, the R is silent, another MG midget, MG little people, sorry people. Alan Good, Triumph TR4A. Michael Zappa, that beautiful TVR Vixen. It's rare that we talk about TVRs in vintage racing, but right behind David Dart and an Austin Mini Cooper is another TVR Vixen driven by Mark Brown. Brian Sharano on a Triumph GT6, Ted Hershey in an MG Midget, Doug Faust, MG Midget, Peter Lambrinos in a Volvo 142E, Stephen Herschritt in an Austin Healey Sprite, Charles Kelly in a Mazda Miata. They're doing the full pace laps. I don't know if anything's changed. Lauren Fritz in that TR3, Jim Holliday in an MGA twin cam, people. Twin cam, I love MGA twin cams. Dan Reynolds, Volvo P1800, beautiful car. Did the downtown parade with us last night. Arnold Carbaugh Jr. in a Lynx B Formula V. Alan Kostic in an MGB GT. Joseph Puma in what I think might be a show-winning MG Midget. Beautiful British Racing Green Midget. Mark Pladsen in a Morgan 4.4. Timothy Scopes, Lotus 11. Anthony Hess, MGB. Stephen Cool, Lynx B. Richard Brown, Austin Mini. Michael Patton, MGB. Michael Silverman in my favorite car here this weekend, that MGA. Heather Richards, first time with us in SVRA as a driver. She's been here many times as a photographer, so welcome Heather Richards, MG Midget. Glen Moore, MGTF. Dave Morgan, Austin Mini Cooper S. Dale Osterly and a Triumph Spitfire, and Peter Usdavinas in an MG Midget. 54 cars are about to take the green. What a beautiful sight. My favorite group. Look at that Lotus 11 right there. So cool. Now notice those right-hand drive minis. At Watkins Glen, a right-hand drive mini, or that right-hand drive Malik or Lotus 23. That should be a pretty big advantage with all these right-handers as they're showing the yellow, they're showing the yellow, they're showing the yellow, they're showing the yellow, they're showing the yellow. Let's see that. There goes the green. Woo. That was scary. Look at that late green, but that puts a lot of cars in the field. As we look at Doc Bundy coming out, but then that Malik's got a little bit of power on it, but Doc Bundy takes it, and Chris Domingo then takes it right back as they go into Mission Foods turn 1. So Chris Domingo puts the power down, and a little bit later on the brakes, the gentleman Doc Bundy gives it to him and lives to fight another day. Thank you, gentlemen, for doing that. And Scott, what's your favorite in this group?
Oh, my favorite, probably the Dilute, just because it's such an original car. But I'm a big MG Midget fan. I raced one in F production, so that's always my favorite cars. That Chris Domingo pass, or actually preventing Doc Bundy from passing, that's what those cars were known for, was their handling. But
he's been passed back by Doc Bundy. We were pointing out that Doc Bundy's racing with 4 pedals in his car. He goes clutch, brake, brake, gas, and he's got that little mister. He really knows how to drive cars. I'm sure your long history at Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta, you've seen him in just about everything. Oh yeah, he's from Gainesville, Georgia. In fact, he won the first D-Production National Championship for Porsche 924 back in the day. He also, in that same year, driving for Al Holbert Racing, won the 24 Hours of Le Mans in his class. So yeah, he's a very accomplished driver. He's won the Endurance Challenge in the Lotus Esprit. And Doc Bundy, we were just talking before you came in, he has won 3 Bell Helmet Championships in this Group 5 Bravo FM in that particular car, and had to start from the back of the pack in the Vintage Championship last year. Drove all the way up into 3rd, and had there been a couple more laps, he may have taken another Bell Helmet. Well, speaking of starting at the back, Peter Usdavinas, that we just saw passing Timothy Scopes in that Lotus 11, he had to start in the back, but he's always one of our fastest MG little people, and we're going to expect him to move his way up to the front, as now we've got, hold on, getting my piece of paper out here, Joe Blacker, I think, in that Brabham BT8. Yes, that's Blacker. And I've been pronouncing it wrong. It's Dilute, you say? I believe it's Dilute. All right. Sorry about that, people. Yes. See, I'm learning something new every day. I love it. And there's that Dilute there, that number 41. Beautiful car. And look at this. Blacker making a move on Doc Bundy coming in. And there's that Lotus Elan. Is he dragging something there on the bottom right? And the Alfa Romeo Special, our spec racer Ford. So ladies and gentlemen, if you think modern racing, all the cars look the same, I can't tell Formula One cars apart. All the Indy cars look the same. NASCAR cars are kind of, they look better this year. I do like the look of them this year, but you can't say that about this group.
Not at all.
All of these cars are so different. We've got air-cooled rear-engine cars. We've got front-engine, front-wheel drive cars. We've got front-engine, rear-wheel drive cars. We've got a little bit of everything in this group.
Yeah, Peter Hoos de Venice, that was very unusual. He started at the back of the pack because he was usually very quick. He won both of the rounds here last year in that MG Midget and is very high in the SVRA sprint points coming in. But Doc Bundy trying to catch up to and hold off the Malik there.
Well, Doc Bundy's leading over that Brabham of Joe Blacker. I'm sure you would know this. That looks like a USS RC car, early Can-Am car. What would that have raced in?
Brabham BT8, most of these in the Group 5 Bravo FM, they are the Group 4 FIA cars. But that Brabham, I think it did race in the USRRC. It just recently bought, it was for sale for several months. Blacker just having bought this Brabham BT8. And that Daily, we covered it, but it has a Jaguar rear suspension in it and a Ford Traco 437 engine in it. There were only 5 of those made. 4 of them still are in existence, and that one called the Shrike Special. That Lotus that you were talking about, that's the Elva Mark 6 prototype you were talking about, that has an 1100cc Coventry Climax engine in it, and it was one of the first what you would call modern low type or low seating Formula cars. Yeah, Bundy and Black are having a good race out there.
Yeah, great race. Doc Bundy's had some of the best races we have. I wish Travis Engen could be out here, but here's that beautiful Dailu, that number 41, Dennis Bigioni. I hope I'm saying your name right, that Group 4, 1962 Dailu MK2. Thank you so much for bringing that out. That is such a cool car. And speaking of that, of these, what did I say? There are 54 cars that took the start,
right.
21 different manufacturers in this race. And I'm not talking like MGA, MGB, MG Midget counts as 3. That only counts as 1. I'm only counting MG or Triumph. So different manufacturers here, because we've got TVR, we've got Lynx, we've got Mazda Miatas, 21 different manufacturers and 54 cars. There isn't another series out there that can boast those kind of numbers.
You were talking about the TVR Vixens. Again, it's very unusual to have one. We have 2 of them. One is the Vixen, one is the S2. The difference being the type of engine that was used in them, but those were hand-built cars. And the TVR, we always talk about the Morgan having the plywood. TVR, the very first original TVR did have a wooden frame as well. Then they switched to the steel frame, but they have the Ford engine in them. They're hand-built, and that is very rare to have a hand-built car doing that well. But they were very, very fast for their day.
Oh yeah, and you've got to look at the Zappa's preparation. The dots on that TVR, they're like Concours winning show cars that are out there racing. If you get a chance, and that's the beautiful thing about these Speed Tour events, you get the chance to get up close, personal. A lot of these drivers will let you sit in the cars, and most of the teams, almost all of the teams, will let you come in, ask them questions, look under their tents. This is all inclusive, and every driver here wants people to know more about their cars, and that's what makes these events so cool. That's why we have so many people out here camping at beautiful Watkins Glen International for this Hilliard U.S. Vintage Grand Prix. And thank you so much, Hilliard. I believe this is your 2nd year as coming on and the title sponsor of this, and what a great partnership it is with Hilliard. Now, what is this? This number 70, it was up front. I think that's the Elva. Let me look here. That's with that spec racer. That's Joey Bajalat and that Elva MK6 prototype.
Right.
And there's that spec racer 4. We got some rubber down there between 10 and 11. That looked like a big chunk of rubber. I hope that's not an important part. And it looks like an important part. It's very, very rare that much rubber, is not needed. And you can see when these gentlemen are hard on their brakes, the cars are moving from left to right, and that's that's kind of some of the characteristics of these older brakes on these cars.
And this is one of the tracks that we visit. Road Atlanta, Road America are two as well. It has a lot of turns on it, but they are very flowing turns. This is a very fast track, so when you get to these braking zones, you really have to stand on those brakes. And you know, these brakes are not the modern carbon fiber brakes that you're used to.
Yep.
You really have to stand on them. Some of them are disc brakes. They just are very, very difficult to get slowed down.
And we see there the number 26 out of his car and on the side of the road at Big Machine Vodka Spike Coolers corner. I'm just trying to see who that is. Oh, Larry Smith. Oh no, that's Larry Smith in the 67 MG Midget. I'm so not used to seeing Larry Smith in a blue midget. I'm used to his British Racing Green. There's that Volvo. And there's that early TR3. Look at that. And there's another Volvo P1800 racing with an MG Midget.
There was supposed to be a Marcos GT out here, and the Marcos GT had, when it first was done, had the Volvo P1800 engine in it. That Volvo there is a very, very, very good car to have. P1800. You're talking about the Corvettes earlier. I heard you down there on the grid. Bill Schwack and I believe Bill Trefford having Corvettes. They were named after a maneuverable warship called the Corvette, and so that was where that name came from.
I'm hearing reports of a black flag out on, I believe he said 1 Alpha. 41 Alpha, I'm not sure. I hope it's not 41 Alpha. That's my favorite car out there. Look at this E-Type from Randy Williams. Randy Williams in the 1966 Jaguar XKE or E-Type. He brings a few Group 6 cars that he races with us. He's got a car set up for an Enduro. They're all painted. He says they're not fast until they're painted British Racing green and yellow. And I think he's the owner of all the dandy convenience stores that you see all over this area. I stop at one on my way in, on my way out every time. And there she is. Check this out. There is Heather Richards, I think. And that, let me make sure this is her. Yeah, and that 50A. Heather Richards is in a 1968 MG Midget. So you can see the rookie stripes there. This is her first time racing with us, doing a great job. Kevin Richards, longtime friend of mine, a mechanic, and she's been here many years taking photos with us, but now she's in the car living the dream. So congratulations to Heather, Kevin Richards.
Yeah, that Jaguar XKE, that was a beautiful car when it was developed. It had a lot of innovations in it that were copied by a lot of different manufacturers, rack and pinion steering being one of them, disc brakes. It was independent rear, front end rear suspension, and the Jaguar very good in club racing. SCCA Bob Tullius driving in the Jaguar won the C Production National Championships. That MG Midget has won over 20 F Production National Championships. Again, that was always my favorite. That was the class that I raced in an MG Midget in F Production in SCCA.
All right, so here we come. Last two turns. That Malik of Chris D'Amico got right up behind Blacker in that BT8. Grab him, and then you'll see Doc Bundy behind him. It looks like he's trying to get side by side coming into Franklin Road, turn 11. This is the last chance, D'Amico. Let's see who's got it here. He comes real wide. The others, Blacker's trying to block. This should be the checkered flag. Get it out, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. So close. Blacker, and then D'Amico followed by Bundy, and hopefully D'Amico gets up to him. And I hope that was a
friendly wave.
The nice finger. You never know with D'Amico. I love it. And that was a fun race as they're waving out to everybody. Chris D'Amico did our downtown parade with his wife, and he's done that for the last several years. Hopefully he had a lot of fun doing that because he puts on a great show. I think last night he was in a Lotus 7, and now he's out here racing this Malik.
Did you see how wide he went outside? That car handled that car has the distinction of out handling any car of its time, and he did that to Doc Bundy when he was able to keep him out of turn 1, Mission Foods turn in the lead, and he almost pulled off that second place position around the outside of Joe Blacker.
Yeah, I think
there's no denying Doc Bundy though. He gets in the lead, and you usually don't catch him.
Yeah, that might have been. We thought that might have come down to some lap traffic, but no, that was really good.
Great disparity of cars and great racing here at Watkins Glen International. Congratulations to Doc Bundy. He made his return pretty much to full-time SVRA racing last year right here at Watkins Glen. So glad to have him back with us.
Well, beautiful views here high above Watkins Glen International. Look at that Mini Cooper. They're coming in to finish. See, as the other cars were on their cool-down lap, they're still racing. Great shots here. And here we are. So we've got Joe Blacker first in that Brabham BT8, followed by Chris D'Amico second, Doc Bundy in that Lotus 23B. That's top Group 5. First in Group 4 is Dennis Bigioni. Then Dan Chapman in Group 5. Then we've got Anton Julian first in Group 3 in that Lotus Elan. Joey Bajalad in the second in Group 4. Peter Lambrinos in that Volvo 142 is second in Group 3. David Bauman in Group 5. And then Cliff Murray is third in Group 3. That's our top 10 here in Group 1, 3, 4, 5B. That does it for that group here at Watkins Glen Speed Tour, but stay tuned. We've got some more great racing here, but please check out these commercials from our great marketing partners and sponsors.
Hawk Performance packs 100 years of friction dynamics into every product. Backed by Carlisle Brake and Friction, the world's premier innovator of industrial brake and friction components, Hawk leverages R&D tools and motorsports experience to deliver uncompromising performance on the street. There's no reason to settle for less. Choose pads that are race proven and street legal. Find the Hawk Performance brake dealer near you at hawkperformance.com.
Feel the power. Experience the excitement. You're in the driver's seat. At Skip Barber, you learn from the best. Whether you are a new driver that wants to learn accident avoidance or a seasoned racer looking to improve, we have a program for you. We're your #1 destination for auto racing and driving schools. Skip Barber. Feel the power.